dollars in cash to Joseph Kennedy. Why does Joe Kennedy have 13 million liquid cash in 1940 at the peak of the Depression? Securities fraud and insider trading was perfectly legal until 1932 and 1933.
Chicago, a city who, despite its geographic location in the heart of the Midwest, has to me always felt like it belonged in the northeastern United States. It's big and diverse and in your face. The weather can be harsh. The people are hardworking and not afraid to bust your balls, but they'll also be the first ones to welcome you with open arms and treat you as one of their own. When I first came to Chicago in 2017, I was a much younger man who had seen far fewer places and had experienced far less in my life. But the immediate feeling I had back then upon stepping off the train from O'Hare is the same one that I had in June of 2024 when we arrived in the evening following the wrap-up of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. I fucking love this place. So we are in Chicago for a few days. It's stop number 3, right?
Yeah.
Stop number 3 of our cross-country road trip. We have a list of things that we're looking to do here in Chicago. Some what you might consider touristy, some a little bit different. People have a tendency when they travel to want to avoid the, quote-unquote touristy things. I'm here to make the case that everything has its time and place. We're off to do one of those things now. How you feeling?
Good. See how the boat goes.
A little hint at what we're doing now. On our way to our tour that afternoon, we stopped by one of Chicago's most notable landmarks. Even though we weren't able to get close enough to it to make the very obvious joke, we still saw it. It's right there. You have to do it. But as you may have guessed, the main activity that afternoon involved us on a riverboat getting a history lesson on Chicago's truly stunning and diverse architecture. And here are some gems from our true character of a tour guide.
Real talk, we can't love you as deeply as possible if you don't love yourself, so figure it out. Get a therapist. Do y'all want to guess how many social events we've had at the post office since '96? The goose egg. Folks, dollars in cash to Joseph Kennedy. Why does Joe Kennedy have 13 million liquid cash in 1940 at the peak of the Depression? Securities fraud and insider trading was perfectly legal until 1932 and 1933. Being married is about having patience. And you don't want to celebrate marriage. I don't think Amtrak has $13, much less $13 million. I guess they'll probably have to wait till the next federal bailout.
For me, tours like this, or those open-air bus tours that if you're like me, you've spent no shortage of time rolling your eyes at, can actually have a useful purpose. If, for example, your time is very limited in a city and you have a number of things that you'd like to check off of your list, tours like these can be a logistically easy way to get that done in half a day or so, and maybe your first day there, and then the rest of the time in that place is yours to do some proper wandering, exploring, and decision-making. Of course, like Karen, there is always the possibility that you could wind up next to a person who has zero regard for personal space, but that's, I guess, the risk you take. After that, it was off to Chicago's Old Town, and no, not to get hammered at the Old Town Ale House, but rather we opted for some delicious Italian food, as well as glasses of wine that were literally as big as my hand, and go ahead and make any jokes that you want about that description, as well as some drinks at Sparrow, a cool and classic-looking Chicago spot located in a 1920s Art Deco style building, which, thanks to our cheeky tour guide, we now knew what that meant. We are now walking to go to our not-so-touristy activity. This morning we went for a nice jog over to Lake Michigan, and we walked along the lake. We did quite a lot of walking.
Over 9 miles.
Yeah, over 9 miles total, all through downtown again. So I think we've checked some of the touristy items off of our list. What do you think?
I think so.
So now we're off to do a not-so-touristy thing.
Well, I think it's kind of touristy. It came up as a tour. What's it called? Jesus Christ.
So how are you liking Chicago so far?
So far, it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of the time goes.
How did you enjoy the riverboat tour, architecture tour yesterday?
It was very nice and informative.
What would you say has been your favorite thing so far?
All the walking, really. And the food. We've had really good food every time.
The exercise has been
your
favorite part. Yeah, there's been no shortage of that, which has been
I like to walk
very
and see
good.
the sights, yeah. And
Yeah.
the food's been good.
Food's been fantastic. We ate in an Argentinian restaurant the
Which
other
I
night,
found.
which Karen will take credit for. What do you think about where we're staying in Wicker Park, Bucktown, that area?
I like it. It's cute, it's quaint, it's quiet.
Yeah.
20,000 steps.
20,000 steps today. It's all of our touristy walking this morning.
I don't think it was touristy at all. If I lived here, I would go to the neighborhood just to walk and watch people.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We'll see how this train ride goes.
Still got to get some, still got to check a few things off the old food list, but more on that later. Now, your standard paint and sip is all well and good, but how often is it that you get to go to a new city, hang out with a local artist, and play with spray paint? We were not going to pass on that opportunity.
I got to paint the whole time, right? Even though you can see this was a little wet, so I took it off because I didn't give it time to dry, so that's fine.
All right, so we just finished up painting. How you feeling?
It was fun.
It was good,
It was
right?
a good time, yeah, something different.
Yeah, I think we got our artistic fill, at least today. How do you feel about your painting?
You know,
I love it. I think it's great, personally.
it's not terrible.
I'll drop in a shot of the paintings right here. And now we're off to get some food. One of our remaining, I'll say, underappreciated Chicago delicacies. I'll be talking about this particular food stop later in the video, so you'll want to stick around for that. And while you're at it, if you'd be so kind, maybe throw a like and a subscribe my way. And if you are subscribed, then this next segment is at least going to look familiar, even if it talks about Chicago here. Click the link above to see these two well-dressed people in yet another video. Okay, so now, live from Chicago, about a week and a half in.
Wednesday night! Can we do that? Wait, don't they say that?
Yeah,
Live from New
they-
York, it's Saturday night.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. That was
Live
good.
from Chicago, it's Wednesday night.
Anywho.
Because I'm done with Chicago. And I wanted somewhere a little bit calmer.
I love Chicago. Shout out to
I
Chicago.
liked it. It's fine. It's just, I don't know. You know, it's fine. It's fine. I'm just not used to it. I had a great time. We
Yeah.
did a lot of walking yesterday. We saw a lot of things. We had a lot of good food. Knock on wood, hopefully tonight's just as good.
That's why we're presentable right now. Is because we're
We're going
getting
to,
ready to go
yeah.
to dinner in a little while.
But overall, it's a nice city. I do enjoy it better than New York. Yeah.
Okay.
In the respect,
Yeah,
it's just,
what?
I don't know. It's just, I like, it's not as fast paced as New York. In New York, in the city, you're like going.
Mm-hmm.
And here, it's, I don't feel like that here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
Definitely-
there's different neighborhoods in New York also, like there is here, but
Yeah.
where we're staying and where we've been have been nice.
Yeah.
And where we're going, I don't know if we're going.
Yeah.
But I'm ready for some, I don't know,
We have yet another tiny home booked.
time.
Yeah, it's fine with
We
me.
just have a lot of stuff.
We have a lot of shit. We have a lot of shit. The reason for looking extra presentable that night was because we were having dinner here. Elska, the Danish and coincidentally Norwegian word for love, is also the name of the Michelin-starred haunt in Chicago's West Loop neighborhood and is the wonderful creation of chefs David and Anna Posey. The tasting menu at Elska walks that fine line of simple yet elegant. Lamb tartare with pickles and remoulade on a rye cracker? Yes, please. Scray cod with charred snap peas, pine, and lardo? Yeah. Duck liver tart with salted ramp and toasted buckwheat? You bet your sorry ass. Now, where this falls on the touristy versus non-touristy activities for being in Chicago, I'll let you decide. I'm just here to eat delicious food. And as I mentioned earlier, we still had a few things to check off of our Chicago food list. Venturing out and leaving downtown in the loop behind, you'll see something that looks a little bit like this. And while still inside of Chicago's city limits, sorry Dorothy, you ain't in Wrigleyville anymore. And if you want to enjoy some old school Chicago delicacies the way the locals do, and you want to avoid the standard and easily accessible tourist stops, you gotta earn it. And by earn it, I mean you gotta drive way the Christ out near Midway Airport to find this place, Tony's. Since 1975, it's an Italian beef as real as it gets. Second to last stop. Couldn't leave town without yet another Italian beef. It's dipped, I can tell. I gotta eat this thing quick.
Great.
We meet again. You guys came to the right place.
Yes.
Thanks.
You too.
Right. Here we are. Yeah, that's sensational. You can't go wrong with Tony's.
Try
Get
it.
in there, girl. What do you think?
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And as much as I was enjoying my love affair with this sandwich, I did have to get the small one because we had one more stop before we left town. A little further up the road and you'll find this place, Vito and Nick's, an old school institution that has been serving up some of the best tavern style pizza in Chicago since 1932.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we've just finished our last stop in Chicago before heading out. Had to stop and get some Italian beef. Had to stop and get some real thin Chicago style pizza, not that deep dish casserole bullshit. You should get it, but it's not Chicago style. How you doing?
Good.
How you feeling about leaving Chicago?
I'm ready. It was nice, but I'm ready.
How's your pizza?
It was good. Nice Diet Coke would have been better with it. Right, though?
Yeah, probably. That, my friends, is Chicago style pizza. Tavern, thin crust, not baked into a casserole. So for full disclosure, we did go to another establishment. I won't name it for the sake of comparison. And we got tavern style pizza there.
I thought it was very good there too.
I would say this is better, personally.
The sauce is better. I thought the other one was thinner, but maybe I'm wrong. But either way, they're both really good. Flavor to their sauce. This is good.
Got an Italian beef at that place too, and it didn't hold a candle to Tony's.
No.
Shout out to Tony. And
That I agree with.
yeah.
I like that place though because it was like locally. I like that. The one we went to the other day.
Yeah, it's no shade on the place,
Yeah.
and I think it still had good food, and I still like it. It's hard to compare the two; they are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Vito Nick's takes it for me as far as the pizza goes, and Tony's blows it out of the water with the Italian beef. And it's not even a comparison. And in a city with a history as deep as Chicago's, it's hard not to want to experience everything that it has to offer. And if my time in this great city has taught me anything, it's that regardless of which path you choose, adventurous or not so adventurous, you are going to enjoy yourself, and I'm not going to judge you either way. So now we're packing up, heading out of Chicago, and see you in Wisconsin. All right? Love you. Bye.
Hi.
What was that?
I think there's moose.
You think there's moose? You
I
think
can't
so?
see them, but if I
There are cows in the area.
if we get a chance to talk to them, I might ask them.
These windows are filthy.